A new picture is received every half hour from the satellites above the equator. These static snapshots, viewed in rapid succession or loops, show the atmosphere as it really is, in constant motion. We can see the winter storm as it moves across the U.S., and we see the relationship of weather conditions across the country. The pieces of the atmospheric puzzle all fit together. The ability to see this motion makes satellite loops an ideal tool for tracking the deadliest storms on Earth. Forecasters here at the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, used the images in September of 1988 to track one of the strongest hurricanes of the century, Hurricane Gilbert.
The disturbance that was later to become Hurricane Gilbert actually came off the coast of Africa on the 3rd of September as a tropical wave.
Bob Sheets is director of the National Hurricane Center.
It reached a tropical storm force late on the 9th, became a hurricane on the 10th of September as it was in the extreme eastern part of the Caribbean. As the hurricane was just south of Puerto Rico, about 30 hours before it moved across the eastern tip of Jamaica, hurricane warnings went up. So there was plenty of time for reaction in that island. Most of the people took the right action.
Gilbert left Jamaica awash in destroyed homes and human suffering. But the only defense for those who lay in the path of a hurricane is advance warning. Jamaica had 30 hours to prepare for the worst. All along Gilbert's path of destruction, Haiti and finally Mexico, advance warning was given. The Hurricane Center uses a combination of airplane reconnaissance, computer forecast models, and satellite coverage to predict the paths of hurricanes.
If we only had one tool to observe the atmosphere, observe the hurricane, there is no question that any hurricane forecaster would take the GOES satellite. Not the polar orbiting satellite, but the GOES satellite, because of that continuous motion, the continuous observations that's available to us. And so many pieces of information are there. You not only see the hurricane itself, but you also see the environment. So it's our primary tool. 80 to 90% of our operation is based on satellite information here at the National Hurricane Center.
A major reason for the importance of satellites in hurricane coverage is the ability to see the storms in their infancy as they come off the coast of Africa. This is possible because of our two satellite coverage. GOES East covers the eastern part of our continent, as well as the Atlantic Ocean out to the tip of the African coast. GOES West covers the western continent as well as the Pacific Ocean, where our winter storms develop. But on January 21st of this year, GOES West ceased to transmit images.
Two things limit the lifetime of our satellites. One is the amount of fuel that we can launch along with a satellite, which it needs in order to keep it in exactly the right place throughout its lifetime. And the second is that electronic and mechanical parts do wear out. And in order to design them so that they wouldn't wear out, it would be prohibitive from a cost standpoint.
NOAA officials had anticipated the failure.
When GOES West failed, we immediately pulled out our contingency plans, which call for the movement of the eastern GOES to the center of the country. During the winter storm season, we will move the central GOES to a position slightly to the west, so we'll be able to see these storms a little bit farther out to the Pacific than afforded by a central position. During the hurricane season, we will be moving the central GOES now to a more eastward position to view the Caribbean better and the central Atlantic, where these storms form. The moving around will cost us a little fuel on board the central GOES. It takes about a pound of fuel to start the satellite moving and another pound to stop it, but we have plenty on board. As far as jeopardizing weather forecasting, again, we won't be able to see the Pacific storms until they're formed in the central Pacific. We won't be able to see the Atlantic hurricanes until they're on top of the Caribbean.
With all the other data available to the Hurricane Center, will the one satellite system compromise hurricane coverage?
Indeed, there is a loss by not having that information out there. This year, we'll be compensating for that by getting more information from the European satellite. We'll try to get more of the polar orbiting data. Good, precise kind of information, but limited in terms of your coverage in time and space. We're concerned. I think that anyone who is involved in tropical meteorology is concerned. GOES is ideally suited for tropical meteorology. Indeed, it's very vital to provide the kind of service that we provide today. Next year, it's one satellite, and hopefully that one satellite will last through the end of the period till we get the new GOES next generation satellites.
The new GOES system is being built by Ford Aerospace here at their Space Systems Division in Palo Alto, California. It is scheduled for launch in 1990. Until then, we'll be operating with only one GOES satellite.
We are committed to having a launch in July of 1990, and the pressure is on to launch this satellite in order to have a two-satellite operational scenario. And we are on target. We will be able to meet that launch date. There's one thing that neither NASA nor NOAA can afford to do, and that is to have a break in service prior to the launch of GOES on.
The first new GOES satellite is already being assembled in what is called the High Bay area. It is a dust-free environment. Once a satellite is completely built, it will undergo a rigorous series of tests, even to the point of simulating the space environment.
The main difficulty is associated with the lack of the ability to make adjustments after launch. In all your ground-type equipment, you can make adjustments. There's a warranty period, and during the warranty period, many corrections could be made by the manufacturer. In our case, we do not have that opportunity, and so we have to be especially careful, very thorough in our design, in our testing, our analyses, in order to try to cover all of the potential problems that might occur.
The new GOES system will consist of 10 satellites and will incorporate advances in both spacecraft and sensing technology.
Our new series of GOES satellites will be significantly better than the present ones. They'll be able to take more pictures, and they'll be able to take them faster to provide better information for forecasters to track severe storms. The pictures that are taken will be more accurate. We'll be able to tell exactly where the clouds are, and from that be able to predict more exactly where the weather systems are moving.
These satellites will take us beyond the year 2000, but before that, yet another generation of satellites will have to be developed. While satellite technology advances into the next century, another scientific revolution is going on right here on the ground. Next, Doppler radar, wind profilers, and how they will change the way we bring home the weather.
We know many times a warning has a very short lead time, and so a quick response is necessary.
When a shark gets hungry, he looks for something he can sink his teeth into. Something meaty, something filling, something red. And when he finds it, he tears into it.
Chunky's new Easy Open can lets you tear into those delicious clams and tender potatoes in chunky New England clam chowder fast. So get plenty, because you never know. Campbell's Chunky. It takes care of the meanest appetites.
They say drink plenty of fluids. What do they know? Swallowing's total pain.
When your throat hurts, Chloraseptic works on contact. Because only Chloraseptic has the power of phenol to penetrate nerve endings and stop sore throat pain fast.
Well, here's looking at you.
Chloraseptic is fast relief.
Stay tuned for more of Bringing Home the Weather. Now, the 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more of Bringing Home the Weather.
The Weather Channel puts the Western states center stage during prime time. Watch the West Coast edition every night from 8 to 11 Pacific time on the Weather Channel.